Support for this episode of PBS Reno Arts is provided by the Nevada Arts Council. Arts and creativity make us stronger, fueling innovation, prosperity, and thriving communities across Nevada. They boost our economy, promote well-being, and enhance education, empowering Nevadans of all ages. The Nevada Arts Council nurtures these essential creative forces. Together, let's elevate the arts in every corner of our great state. More at nvartscouncil.org. This is PBS Reno Arts. I'm Dave Santina in the studio of PBS Reno in Reno, Nevada, and I'm excited. It's that time of year. The haunted houses are getting revved up. They're starting to get prepared. We see Spirit Halloween has been opening, and people are starting to think about what's coming. And we all know the Dark Corner haunt that for years was at the National Bowling Stadium, but this year it's a little bit different. And I have Holly Spahr, the CEO of Dark Prison Haunt. I think I might have given it away. And Guinivere Clark, who's VP of Operations for this massive undertaking. And thank you both for coming.
You're so welcome.
Thanks for having us.
I love these haunted houses, and the work that you do is amazing. A few years ago, fair warning to everybody, I know Guinivere Clark well. We worked together for many years. I'm very comfortable talking about the Artifacts show that she produced for years, and one of the stories was about the Dark Corner haunt a few years ago, because Gwyn gave us an inside view, because you worked on it for years.
Yes.
And so now it's growing and expanding in a way that's amazing, and now you're the VP of Operations. It's really very cool. So tell me about this year's Dark Prison haunt. This is a big change.
Yes, this year is very special. It's going to be amazing. So we've rebranded as Dark Prison Haunted House, specific to our new location. We are now at the historic Nevada State Prison in Carson City.
It's so cool.
Yes, and we're keeping the name Dark Corner as well, as we hope to be back in Reno one day. We've had a fabulous 3 years downtown Reno and love working with Visit Reno Tahoe. But now down in Carson City, thank you Visit Carson City for bringing us down there, and thank you to the Nevada State Prison Preservation Society, because the board members from the Preservation Society came and saw us after our very first year of our showcase in Reno and said, this would be great for our venue. They scouted us and they said, come check this out.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I wanted to know, is how did this happen? They actually came to you.
Yes.
Yes, they did.
They were so impressed by our showcase, our professionalism, and the quality of our entire show that they said, come check out this location. So we went down to Carson City and saw that amazing venue, the Nevada State Prison, that's been decommissioned for 13 years. And fun fact, it was decommissioned for 13 years to the exact date that we opened it for our halfway to Halloween showcase. So we did a test run, a special experience in May for halfway to Halloween to celebrate those of us who think Halloween is for all year long.
So yeah, it should be a lifestyle, not a holiday.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
It sure is. And it was so successful and completely sold out that now we are doing a full show, 17 operating nights this fall down at that venue.
Well, that's
and
right.
Taking over 3 different locations at that site.
We should point out, I forgot to mention this at the top, this is bad hosting. September 26th through November 1st, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're listening to this now, we're recording this in the middle of September to post on the 22nd. We're right at the beginning of the week where you open, and so you got a whole month plus to get out there and check it out. So that's really exciting. That I can't believe you were recruited. That's such an honor.
It really is.
It's
very
huge.
special.
Yeah, it's huge. It's such a very historic place. It's been around for over 150 years. It's a really significant site. So it's really cool that we get to add to that history and add a different, maybe lighter, happier light to it, even though it's spooky.
I was going to say,
people.
it doesn't immediately on the surface sound happier and lighter, but I guess since it is a fun show versus being incarcerated for real, I guess I can see what you're talking about there. So it does seem like a perfect location. You're working with the Nevada State Prison Preservation Society, which makes me wonder, what sorts of rules do you have to follow when you're putting together an event like this in a preserved location? I would assume that you both have a lot to do with that.
Yes, so that's another reason why it's taken so many years to appropriately build and facilitate what this great show is going to be, is by really respecting this site. As a seasonal operation, we are very used to being modular with our bills and our walls, and so that worked for us already. You know, we can transport all of our sets, our walls, we put them together modularly. So we're building inside of the prison. We're not attaching anything to the walls and making sure the site is very respected so that we can put people through our experience and not damage the property in any way.
Are you under supervision by the society? Do they send people to make sure that this is happening right and that you're not, unintentionally doing anything to affect the preservation?
Well, yeah, we're working really close with them. And another reason why this show is so important is to bring the revenue to the prison to help with its preservation. So bringing some cash flow into that building, where this show is going to be able to help them fix their roads and maintain their roof and get their plumbing and electricity turned back on, so this site can just get better and better for any programming they have there.
So it sounds like the ultimate goal for them is to essentially make a museum out of this site. I guess technically they have people come in now, and there was we had an art story about an exhibit that was in the prison, but I don't think of it as a place people go regularly, but I guess you can.
Right. Well, up to now as well, they also have historic tours at the prison and paranormal tours and paranormal investigations as well. Yes. So they've had visitors there doing tours. They've shown it off as a historic site and as a museum, kind of like you said.
Okay.
We're just adding an entertainment value and allowing hundreds of people in one night to come in at one time.
That's so cool. It's going to be amazing. So what can people look forward to? I don't want you to, give away anything, but, as the two people who are most involved probably with putting it all together, making it happen, I imagine that you're excited to share.
Absolutely. I mean, you can always look forward at any Dark Corner Creative, or now Dark Prison Experience, is our artistry. All the local artists that build these sets and props. In fact, we make all of our high quality props in-house ourselves. So you bet we're going to knock your socks off with all of the art in the show, but also the continuation of our storyline. We've had a really fun time building on our storyline from downtown Reno and changing it in a way. If you've watched our trailer, you've noticed we've arrested our downtown Reno icon characters and sent them to jail for the illegal shadow plague ring operation that we've been working on. So now with all of our icon characters down at the prison, you're going to see all of the chaos that ensues with all of those characters there at once. And building off of our fictitious storyline, we've chosen the Nevada State Prison to be kind of the backstory of some of our icon characters and a look into the new icon characters that you'll meet there. So we have a very significant mad scientist feel to our show. Because as you guys might know, if you've been following us for a while, Dr. Stain, one of our biggest icon characters, downtown Reno, who invented the shadow plague. This is a look into one of his backstories, that he used to be the medic on site at the historic Nevada State Prison.
Okay.
And that's how he learned all of his techniques for mad science creations. And he's also paired up with our new icon character, Jorgen, who has been working at the prison for so long as a doctor that he's turned himself into a cyborg and is now creating mad scientist creations with the bodies of the inmates, the prisoners, and those in the mental asylum. So very, very mad science feels when you come this year.
Yeah, and I want to add on to that too with the Jorgen character and Dr. Stain, like all of that was built ourselves. The costume, the character, the masks that the actors wear, like all of it was created by us. All of the sets inside, other than the walls of the prison, of course, were created by us. We've been working on this for a really long time.
I wanted to get into that because I don't think most people, I certainly am one of them, know how much work it takes to go in. You're VP of operations. You are intimately involved with all of this. What's the timeline for putting together something like this? It's not like you just started in the beginning of September. This goes. I know it's huge.
Oh yeah. So like we mentioned, we had a halfway to Halloween event back in May. In that we built the basic bones of what we have now of the temporary walls, the very modular walls that we've had in downtown Reno that are now at the prison. We had that set up in May, and then from that we just built on top of it and made it bigger. We are what's called a build and strike haunted house, which means that we build everything, we have it for the season, and then we take it all down. And then we do the same thing next year, which is a ton of work. We have, decorations. That's one of the things that Holly does and is amazing at, is set decorations and making those props and things like that. So it does take months to build that story, make it safe for people to walk through and get scared through as well. Yeah, it takes a long time.
It takes an entire year, honestly. We are getting, after season, it takes us a while to break down and finish our year. We hibernate for a couple weeks, and by January, we are back together as an executive team figuring out our storyline and our location for the next year. So we're really looking forward to hopefully staying down at the Historic Nevada State Prison for years to come and expanding there. But it takes an entire year to build all of these sets by hand, make the props, do all the fabrication and painting, and gather the crew it takes to pull off this show, to do all the logistics and operations. I mean, it's not just a creepy clown in the corner. No, not at all. It takes a full team of understanding how to get people in, waivers, entertainment in the line, and how to get people through safely and correctly, all the permitting process. I mean, it takes us an entire year. It's something that we hear over and over is, around August or so, people will be like, "Oh, already? You're already setting up?" I'm all, "You have no idea.
Yeah,
we've been doing this since it's been cold out."
It's amazing the amount of work that goes in, and the artistry of the decor. Like you talk about the work that you do. How do you do it? Where do you even begin when you're looking at a room to say, I'm going to turn this into a horrific but fun experience? Like I'm curious to get into the dark soul of Holly Spahr.
Well, yeah, it always starts with the theme and the storyline. So creating that fun storyline helps you on your creative journey of figuring out what scene you want to put in what order to visually tell that story. But once you're in a scene, it starts with the subject matter, where your patrons, where you want them to look first. And a lot of that is our high quality props. And so the way we do that is we life cast ourselves and our best friends at our studio and create a silicone mold of the likeness of their body. We pour that up in a urethane foam, or sometimes a silicone, and we paint it to look lifelike, and then we fabricate it. So that's when the decapitations happen. That's where the blood and guts come in, and we turn ourselves and our friends and our chopped off hands of our family members into the decor you see in the show. So
nice.
it's really all locally made.
It really is all custom, yeah. Because
Sure is.
At first glance, I might imagine, oh well, you probably went out and found some of these items in shops or online, but really it's very custom. And so, are you both represented in this year's Dark Prison Haunt? Are your bodies dismembered somewhere along the way?
I am significantly, and Gwen's up next. She
Yeah,
doesn't
I've not
know
done
this
it
yet,
yet.
but I'm staring at her right now.
Yeah, I've not done it yet, though. I would be happy to contribute some fingers or toes or whatever is needed.
All right. Has anybody done the full head casting where you've got straws up the nose and all that?
Yes, absolutely.
I've always been fascinated by that. I grew up loving scary movies, monsters, all of that. So the haunted houses always are fun to learn about. And I just remember seeing old photos from the 30s and 40s of Lon Chaney Jr. with a mold over his head and these two little straws up his nose so he could breathe while they cast his whole face. And it might not have been him. But it was somebody in that era. And I just always thought, that's, if you're claustrophobic, that's your hell. That's your nightmare.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That technique's a little archaic now, although you do see that in all of the old photographs of body casting, but they don't do straws up the nose anymore, and we don't at our studio. But yes, you get silicone poured over your head and your whole body, and you're kind of encapsulated in that tomb for a while.
That's
so
amazing.
you have to find victims that aren't afraid of claustrophobia or can meditate through that, half hour to hour experience being immobilized.
Oof. If you've ever been in an MRI, you might have a similar experience. All right, so how do you organize all this, Guinevere Clark? This is a ton of logistics, and you volunteered, or you've been a part of this for years. The story you did for Artifacts was when it was a joint. You were working at the Dark Corner Haunt while producing a story about the Dark Corner Haunt, and it was fun to see. But that was before you took on this role. So now you're even deeper into it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the very first year that we had the haunted house, I saw it as an opportunity to just be a little weird gremlin in the corner. And I really did think they were just going to throw me into a dark corner, pun intended, and just jump out at people. But I ended up in a more speaking managerial role. And then it just I realized, oh, there's so much more than just scaring people. Like, that's the fun part, obviously, but there's so much more. Like we mentioned, like the permits. If we wanted to sell food on site, we need permits for that. We need to hire staff who understand how to scan tickets, who understand customer service. It's hard sometimes when you have customers and you're supposed to be front facing with them, but you look like a monster. So you have to figure out that balance of, scaring them, but also giving the guest a good experience, because especially our front of house and support staff team, they're sometimes the first and last people you see when you enter it. So they are just as much as part of the experience as anybody else.
Yeah, it makes a difference. I was in spring break this year. My family did a trip to the UK, and we went to the London Bridge experience, which was an underground haunted experience. It's a tour with actors performing historical scenes, which were gruesome but based on accurate history, and they were just presenting. But at the end of it, you walk out through. You have a choice. You can walk the easy path, or you can take their essentially haunted tour, and it was really well done. And I remember talking about this with you, with Guinevere. We had lunch a few months ago, and I wanted to share it because it was such a well done event, and it reminded me of what you do. And I think about that kind of world where you're creating your own, and then sometimes you're experiencing others. Do you steal ideas from each other? Do you go to other haunted houses and say, "Oh, that was pretty cool. Let's do something like that"?
Oh, well, we always significantly support other haunted houses in our industry. We go to major conventions for the haunted attraction industry throughout the year, and we see what other people are doing. That's where we buy our props from each other. If you have a booth, or we take classes, we get certified in safety and operations within the haunted attraction industry. It's taken very professionally, and there's a board that we take classes from, and we get our certificates to make sure we really understand how to do this professionally and safely. But also, that's where you meet your friends from all over the world who are doing similar haunted shows, and just see what everyone else's big themes are for the year, and interesting props and set pieces that people are creating and showing off. So within the artistic journey, as artists, we're always inspired by one another. So we always really aim to be original and create our own storylines, and like you've heard us say multiple times on this show, we're very original and custom, but we also are influenced by each other, as all artists are.
My favorite part is going through a haunted house with Holly or anyone on our executive team, like Dustin Ring as well, and just watching people are jumping out and scaring you. Meanwhile, they're looking at the wall like, how'd they do that? How do they do that? That's really cool.
And the person who's trying to scare you is thinking, they're not even looking at me.
Right. It's hard to scare haunters. And, we're always impressed with, everyone else's showcases.
That's fun. Well, I think what a fun way to spend your time, going to conventions with other haunted attraction keepers. I think that I didn't even know that. I learned recently of the convention when Guinevere says, "I'm going to this," and I thought, that's a real thing? How cool. But of course it is. You have to have a community to share this with, and to learn from, and to grow with. I think that makes a lot of sense, but it's the kind of thing that person who shows up at the prison on a Friday night and just wants to walk through and scream and have fun would never consider. It's a whole industry.
It is. And even just for the actors, it's more than just jumping out and saying boo. Like, we actually tell people, don't do that. Don't say boo at people. You have to get way more creative with it.
Yeah.
You have to maybe follow the person who's last in line. You have to jump the middle of the group. Like, it's a whole training session on how to scare people. That in itself isn't as simple as you might think.
Yeah, I remember, again, I flash back to the spring when I was in London at this London Bridge experience, and I remember how consistently everybody on the crew, all the presenters, they were actors, would make it clear that no one's going to touch you, because that's a big concern. People get freaked out about that, and they would say, no one will touch you, because when it's intense, it feels very real, and someone's coming directly at you, and there is a moment where some people will really flip out and they can get very scared, and you have to be safe too. If somebody overreacts to somebody coming at them and throws a punch, that's not part of the fun. And so I'm sure that your training must incorporate how to deal with your own customers reacting to you.
Sure. And we call it Monster Boot Camp. And there's a lot of training behind the scenes to make sure this is a safe attraction, not only for our patrons, but also for our staff. Outwardly, we seem like very dangerous environments and dangerous monsters, but really all the time it takes to make sure that is just the skin that you're seeing, and really the environments are safe, and our monsters know what they need to do to create those scares and that entertainment in different ways, at the same time making sure they are respecting other people's personal boundaries, keeping themselves safe, and having a good time.
And especially to bring it back to Nevada State Prison, that's a really big deal to us this year, because it is a historic site, which means that, it's not necessarily built with modern day safety in mind. So we've taken steps to make it more safe, and then also need to teach our people how to navigate that space in a safe way. Like, don't eat the paint off the walls, even if they're dripping off. Don't do that. I know it might look creepy. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's a good call. Good call.
But relating back to your experience in London and being inspired by other creatives, something we've done is create our own fictitious storyline. We are not representing the stories at the Nevada State Prison. We live in our own fictitious universe. But there are so many stories at this location, and maybe more similar to an experience that you had in London is a special event we're doing this season that I'd love to talk about.
Sure. It's
called Behind the Screams. And every year we get told, I love what you guys do so much. I know you put so much work into it. It's going to be too scary for me, but I'd love to come and support.
Right.
So this year we are finally doing an event where you can learn more of the stories and inspiration from the site itself in a dual event we are doing with Nevada State Prison Paranormal. So if anyone listening is curious about what we do, want to see the artistry, want to hear the stories, want to know how we're inspired to do what we do, but going when the monsters are going to jump out you is not quite your thing, there are 3 special dates this October, the 5th, 9th, and 12th, where we are doing an event called Behind the Screams, which is a behind-the-scenes tour of the prison, where you will see behind the curtain of our haunted house, the largest haunted attraction in northern Nevada, where we show you how it's done, lights on looks at all the sets and the art, and show you all the special ways and safety it takes to build this event, as well as you're going to go behind the scenes with Nevada State Prison Paranormal, the professionals there who have spent years and years in the industry and are going to tell you how they do it, and look behind paranormal investigation where they tell ghost stories. It's not going to be a paranormal investigation. It's behind the scenes of the site and ghost stories of all the paranormal happenings that have been there. It's a 2.5-hour event where we will trade groups, and you'll get to walk behind all the interesting spooky stories behind the scenes. We're calling it Behind the Screams.
That's really cool. That's a great idea, because there are a lot of people who just won't go because they get freaked out, and they know themselves well enough to not do it. But a lot of people would love this. I'm interested in this, actually. Now I'm curious about it.
Yeah,
October
absolutely.
5th, 9th, and 12th.
You can buy tickets online at our website, darkprison.com/paranormal BTS. That stands for Behind the Screams or Behind the Scenes, however you want to memorize that.
Love it.
But yes, please buy tickets to that if you want to support, you want to see the art, you want to see how it's done, you want to know a little bit of the spooky history there at the prison. It's a great way to dip your toe in and support all the makers there on site.
Brilliant. Well done. That's a great idea. I'm glad you guys are offering that, because I think that that will be a regular thing that will become a big part of this going forward. I bet, because I know tons of people would love that. I would love it. All right. I don't want to take up your entire day, but I know you have to go do terrible things, and I don't want to get in the way of that. But I want to ask, so speaking of people who maybe are a little less inclined to go to the haunted house, thinking about age range, this seems too intense for little kids. Who can come? Is there an age minimum? What are the rules?
We recommend that no one under the age of 5 goes, because there are loud noises, there are flashing lights, there are even sometimes smells, and again, actors jumping out at you all the time, right? So we do keep safety in mind, but we do recommend that people older than at least 5 years old go. But you are the parent to your kid. You know, if your kid loves scary movies, then and you think they can handle it, then they probably can. We've had plenty of little kids go through who are really into that. Even I know Artifacts producer Rebecca Cronin takes her children every single year. They always go through, so then they have a great time.
Good. So there's a good guideline, and if you know your kid, you make the call. But yeah, if you're not sure, at least 5 it probably makes.
If they're already watching Stranger Things or some of those spookier shows on television, it'll be all right.
Fair enough. Okay, good. All right. So how can people find more information for you guys? You mentioned the website. Can you give us that website again and maybe your socials?
Absolutely. We are darkprison.com. Real easy to remember, darkprison.com. That's where you can learn about us, buy tickets from that site. And then we talked about the Behind the Screams event. You can find that on darkprison.com/BTS. On social, we are Dark Prison Haunt on all platforms. Yeah.
Okay. Dark Prison Haunt on socials everywhere. Darkprison.com is a website, but for the special behind the scenes, darkprison.com/BTS.
Correct. And we have 17 nights of season this year. We start, by the time you're listening to this weekend on the 26th. We run weekends through the month. You can find that information on our website as the days vary slightly, the more and more popular we get towards Halloween. Sure. So we do have some Thursdays. We have some Sundays we've added this year. There's a lot of people that work, Friday, Saturday nights in their other entertainment and industry jobs are like, man, I wish you did Sundays. So we're opening it up a little more this month. And besides the Behind the Scream special event, we also have one other special event this season, which is on November 1st. We are doing a full lights off, flashlights only haunted house.
Wow.
So if you've been following us for a while or you like it really spooky, if you want to come out November 1st, come out once during the season to see it with the lights on, and then come out November 1st again. We'll give you a flashlight and you can walk through the historic Nevada State Prison inside the haunted house with flashlights only.
That might even be harder to be a monster in that dark world. You have to see enough.
You'd be surprised. Your eyes adjust really, really well in those environments.
Funny. All right. Well, spoken from someone who knows, and so I'll take your word for it. Cool. Well, thank you for coming and talking about this. I'm excited. I'm more excited than I was before, and I was pretty excited before just by the notion of the prison. It's such a great idea. I'm so glad you guys got to partner up with the Nevada State Prison Preservation Society. This is going to be exciting.
Absolutely. The venue is incredible. We are so honored to bring this event to that site. So come on down to Carson City. The 20-minute drive down to the valley is beautiful and worth it to come down to this destination location. We'll see you there this October.
Yes, absolutely. I want to add real quick too. I would just want to say thanks to the Nevada State Prison Preservation Society, because they've been huge in helping us figure out how we can even do this and follow all the rules and things like that. So huge thank you to them for even allowing us on site.
Yeah. Well said. All right.
Please visit Carson City.
Thank you both. All right. Before we go, I want to remind everybody to watch Artifacts on PBS Reno. That's via broadcast or streaming on pbsreno.org or the PBS Reno YouTube channel or the PBS app. So many ways to watch. Also, read the columns Art Views at pbsreno.org. Now, do you have a question or maybe a comment or a suggestion? If you do, please send them to me at podcasts@pbsreno.org. I swear I will read them if you send them. My thanks to Holly Spahr and Guinevere Clark, and thank you for listening to PBS Reno Arts. Support for this episode of PBS Reno Arts is provided by the Nevada Arts Council. Arts and creativity make us stronger, fueling innovation, prosperity, and thriving communities across Nevada. They boost our economy, promote well-being, and enhance education, empowering Nevadans of all ages. The Nevada Arts Council nurtures these essential creative forces. Together, let's elevate the arts in every corner of our great state. More at nvartscouncil.org.